Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. I've often talked about the fact, though, the reason why we know about a lot of these things are going to end up being hot garbage before they end up coming out is because, well, we listen to the people when they talk about things. We listen to the marketing, we listen to the developers, we listen to the creators behind this kind of stuff, and we see what they are emphasizing over other things out there. And when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, there is no doubt whatsoever that they are prioritizing the agenda and trying to rewrite history in every way and shape and form. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? The executive has absolutely admitted it in a very recent interview with the New York Times out there, trying to save their image, trying to fix some of this stuff and try to explain away some of the nonsense that they've been doing, that they've been getting a lot of backlash from the fans over. And the fact that him come out here and flat out admit that they want to go beyond what is accepted truth, that they do indeed want to rewrite history and use this as a vehicle for the message, well, ladies and gentlemen, color us shocked there. This game's going to be a disastrous dumpster fire, and an Ubisoft, when they're currently bleeding money like nobody's business right now, and after such an abysmal failure with Star Wars Outlaws, I can't wait to see how Assassin's Creed Shadows does, boys and girls, because here we go from our dear sweet friends over at That Park Place. Assassin's Creed Shadows executive producer admits Ubisoft is going beyond what is the accepted truth. Yes, boys and girls, as always, it's all about rewriting the world in their own image, pushing the agenda that they want so they can rewrite history in a way that they feel is more appropriate to a modern audience with all of their forced diversity, inclusion, and equity. And considering the fact that a lot of people have been quoted as saying that 2024 is the year that woke goes to die, there's a very good possibility that next year we will not even see Ubisoft in its same form as it is right now because of the disastrous earnings call where they've admitted that they have been bleeding money for the last few years betting on Star Wars Outlaws, which has turned into a flop, and Assassin's Creed is their next big bet for an influx of money. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that's going to pan out very well for them because they want to push beyond what is the accepted truth, and we see how well that's been working out for people this year. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com, get into all of the juicy details and see exactly what he has to say and hear as well. But before we do, and of course we got some examples of the pushing beyond what the accepted truth is as well. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, because boys and girls, we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Does it surprise you that they're actually outwardly admitting this kind of stuff, that they actually do indeed want to rewrite history in their own image, or you think it's just one of them situations where they fully believe they are so down with the cult that everybody will accept their way of life if they only show it and talk to them about it properly, that they're simply not hiding it anymore? Let us know what you think about all that down below. Also, it helps with the algorithm. Assassin's Creed Shadows executive producer admits is going beyond what is the accepted truth by our dear sweet friend John F. Trent. Mark Alexis Cote, Ubisoft's executive producer for its Assassin's Creed franchise, recently admitted the company's aim with Assassin's Creed Shadows is to go beyond what is accepted truth. Ah, yes, try to rewrite the world in their own image. In an interview with the New York Times that Ubisoft used as a hit piece to attack its former fans and potential customers for Assassin's Creed Shadows, go check out my video from yesterday if you don't believe us, Cody revealed exactly what he and his team are doing with the game. He told the outlet, "We want people to be passionate about history. What does that mean? Stay true to well-documented moments and historical figures." Oh, really? Because you didn't do any of that? Would you like some examples? Because our dear sweet friend Grums over here on X, follow him over there if you haven't already, reminds everybody exactly what they did after trying to attack the fans. Ubisoft is attacking gamers for Assassin's Creed Shadows' poor reception. They say they respect Japan, but make no mention of how they stole a Japanese reenactment group banner and published it in an art book even after being told of the error, used Chinese art in Japanese games, used a sword from One Piece and claimed it was Yasuki's at an exhibit. We did that video as well. Got all of Japan wrong, from crops in season to the size of the tatami mats. Yeah, they're really paying attention to how historically accurate they are, aren't they? They're really trying to dig down and be as historically accurate to solid concrete things that went on, aren't they? Also decided to put a hip-hop beat to Yasuki beating up Japanese villagers with a curb stomp. Yes, boys and girls, doesn't that just scream wonderful representation of Japan's culture? No wonder the country's pissed. Oh, couple that with the game director, Charles Burns, and Bennett told Xbox Wire, and it seems abundantly clear that Ubisoft is in reality trying to rewrite history. Bennett said in May, "We're at the end of the Sengoku series, in a turning point of Japan's history. Assassin's Creed is well known for its depiction of the history and accurate recreation of the world." Yes! And that's exactly why everybody has an issue with that. As a person that has been a longtime fan of the Assassin's Creed franchise, who I loved some of their early games out there, all the way up until Black Flag, this is exactly why the fans of Assassin's Creed are so pissed off that you are completely and totally disrespecting Japan's culture, their lore, and their history, not to mention trying to use a BS nonsense made-up story about a black person that was actually in Japan at the time, but was not a samurai in any way, shape, or form. Because, of course, we know, because of Ubisoft's own admittance, to be an adherence to the diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense that continues to drive sales into the ground and destroy storytelling as we know it. We know exactly why you did this. Because, hey, guess what? Ghost of Tsushima did a great job representing Japan accurately, and guess what? Their lead character was Japanese. This game is going to be bomb like nobody's business. It's going to fail miserably because if anybody who actually wants an accurate depiction of Japan at the time, they'll go play Ghost of Tsushima. Like I said, this is going to be one more nail in the coffin of Ubisoft and their steps towards bankruptcy or a hostile takeover from somewhere else, which we already know investors are looking to do just that. And of course, this is the gaslighting. This is what players can expect with Assassin's Creed Shadows. No, we can't, because we already know that you're lying from the trailers that you've released. Do we need to go back to Grum's lists? We're showing real historical figures. Oh, really? Because the Yusuke you're representing is not an accurate depiction of what Yusuke was at the time. He was basically a court jester. He was kept around because they thought he was cool, and at best, maybe a bodyguard. We're showing off real historical figures, such as Oda Nobunaga, and lots of events that happened during that time. So you're not only playing in feudal Japan, but you're learning about this fantastic time period that is completely and totally inaccurate to actual historical evidence of the real things going on in Japan at the time. And this is what's funny about this too. They went to the New York Times to try to save face, to try to rebuild their image as to the depiction of this game around here. But ironically, the New York Times' Zachary Small also shared that Cody believes this approach would inevitably open up Assassin's Creed to more criticism in the future. But the developers have decided it was a risk worth taking. Yes, boys and girls, they know that this game is good. They knew when they were producing this game that it was going to get backlash, but they decided that everyone's favorite Assassin's Creed franchise and Ubisoft's future as being an independent game development studio was worth the risk. It was worth sacrificing all of that on the altar to their diversity, inclusion, and equity nonsense, which leads to go woke, go broke over and over again, and could lead to the very death of Ubisoft as its own independent company. And that, boys and girls, is hilarious. It just shows you the psychosis of these people. They believe so much that you will see their way of view from this nonsense, no matter how many times, no matter how many examples we have of this failing time and time again. They will push it through all the way to the end. The executive producer of this game working over there at Ubisoft is absolutely a full-blown cultist member, and he will allow the entire franchise and in turn the company to burn down to the ground, all for the sake of his agenda. How's that going to work out for them, boys and girls? How's that going to pan out for them? Because once again, they are specifically expecting this game to do well. But as Stutter and Craig has pointed out, and as we've done a video over before, the pre-sales, according to his inside sources, so technically a rumor, are abysmal. No one is expecting this game to be good. No one is out there pre-ordering this game. Ubisoft is desperate for cash. They convinced their investors investors, they told their investors that they expected major influxes of money from Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. They believed these games were guaranteed wins. All the time knowing that what they were doing with the diversity, inclusion, and equity pushes inside of these games would ruffle some feathers, that would cause them backlash. And clearly they thought for some reason they were God's gift to the agenda and they would be able to actually force this nonsense through. But of course they don't actually believe in God, and just like the oldest story in the book, they believe they can be like God. They believe they can rewrite the world in their own image, and guess what? It never works out for them. It fails every single time. Star Wars Outlaws turned out to be a buggy, broken mess where the graphics look like they're from a Nintendo 64, all because once again they concentrated on diversity, inclusion, and equity over good storytelling and actually making sure the game functions. This is coming from the exact same company. Why would we expect any different? They knew this game was going to cause problems. They knew this game was going to cause backlash, and they went full steam ahead anyone, all because they believed they could convince you to purchase their agenda-driven nonsense. Well, guess what? We've seen how this has worked out for them time and time again. Assassin's Creed Shadows, you are going to flop, but because you concentrated more on your agenda than good storytelling and respecting Japan's culture, history, and lore. And now you're going to fail, and Ubisoft is going to be even closer to bankruptcy. You knew it was going to happen, you accepted the risks, and now you're going to get exactly what you deserve.